Manifesting generators. Can we just do that really quick before the break?
Yeah, definitely.
So the manifesting generator is the hybrid of the generator and the manifester. You still have to follow the generator rules. As a manifesting generator, it is hard to wait because you have this big, strong energy system. You have these defined centers that are always going, so you have the pressure to act. Add to that the programming we all receive to act like a manifestor, and you are manifesting left and right, and chances are you have a memory of when you tried to initiate something and it came and hit you in the face. So here's why. This is for generators and manifesting generators. I'm a magnet. I'm in a good mood. I'm with Kevone. He's making me so happy. Love him, respect him. Everything's good. Did some exercise today. Now I sit down and I know happy things are coming my way. And I want to be elegant. So why would I get up and run and smack into them when I know they're coming to my door? I don't need to sweat it. I don't need to hustle. I don't need to go run around town and check if it's coming. If I really understand what my aura is, I sit here and I do things that make me feel happy, and I allow it to come to me because I'm a magnet. A magnet doesn't need to go forward. Now the trick as a manifesting generator, and this is again why I recommend getting a reading, I wholeheartedly recommend Kevone, but we'll talk about the readings later, so you can get these nuances. There's different types of manifesting generators. Some of them are really kind of manifestors that have to act like generators. Some of them, like me, are more generators. They're
with the capacity,
thank you, to be a manifestor given certain circumstances. So the manifesting generators, I got to talk about the flaky pass and the hoe pass.
Oh yeah, go ahead. Do it.
Okay, so, because manifesting generators love to hear this.
Copper.
And everybody needs to know this because everybody hates us for being flaky. I'm a manifesting generator. We get on everybody's nerves. So all manifesting generators from this day henceforward, you get a flaky pass. The reason is your energy, in order to operate, you have to test the waters. You have to get your feet wet before you can make a decision, regardless of what your design is, regardless of your inner authority. If your aura design type is manifesting generator, you have to test things out. So, you know, let me wait and see, or, you know, let me try it and I'll tell you, or let me try it on, you know, let me... Like today, I had to do a test run with this. I had to check the lighting to see if I'd be comfortable. I couldn't just jump in and then find out that I hated the lighting, and then I'd be like, you know, worrying about how I looked the whole time. That would be terrible energy. So I tested the waters first, and then we proceeded. You're invited to a party on Saturday. It's Wednesday. You don't know how you're going to feel on Saturday. Maybe right now you say yes. Saturday comes, you get a bad feeling. Mm-hmm. You get a bad feeling about this party. And I know stories of people this has happened to, and it resulted in like car accidents and horrible events because they didn't listen to that bad feeling. If your second, you know, your second time asking yourself, is this right for me? If it's a no, even if you said yes at first, you have to go with that no, because your system sometimes is serious, like trying to save your life. Sometimes your system is saying, no, don't go to that party, because it knows that you're going to end up being like, I want to be like, you know, alone, mopey. You're going to go to the coffee shop in your neighborhood, and like your soulmate that you've been looking for is sitting there, and you're going to bump into them. Mm-hmm. So your higher self is like, don't go to the party. Go over here.
Yes.
So you have to constantly, you're constantly having to update. And other people don't like this because we like consistency. We want to control each other. Some of it is out of love. You know, if I want to connect with you and I need to make a date with you and I say Saturday, I'm looking forward to seeing you on Saturday. But if you don't feel good on Saturday and you show up as a manifesting generator, no one's going to feel good. An upset manifesting generator will mess up a household, a whole party, a wedding. Like,
yes,
yeah, just
power.
Don't go. We're very powerful.
It's both the generator and the manifestor kind of wrapped up in one being. So you have just the powerhouse. You have both. You have both parts of the puzzle, like actually both halves. Like you got everything that you possibly could need within the body. So the manifesting generators, another thing to mention is efficiency.
Yes, we love to skip steps.
Yes.
We want to hurry. And sometimes skipping steps can be efficient, And a lot of times you skip steps and you have to go back and repeat it, and then you're going to be angry because your manifestor part's going to get triggered, and you're going to be frustrated because you're a generator. So we have to learn to slow down and not get ahead of ourselves. That's a real problem with us.
Yes.
And so now I want to go more specifically to relationships really quick, because manifesting generators, you also get a hoe pass. And this is very serious.
It's so for
you
real,
are
though.
not, if you're a manifesting generator, please do not do the, I'm going to wait till I'm married to have sex. And I know that's breaking, for some people, let me tell you why. Because you have to test the waters first, and you will not know until you're actually having the sex. You have to actually test drive your relationships, even on the physical level. Now, fortunately, we're in a society that's opening up, and I see all these reactions, because if you're a manifesting generator, you know.
Yep.
You have to do it. You have to be experimental, and you have to put yourself, like, I bought a car, and they have this deal. You could pay $500 extra to have 2 days to decide to bring it back, with all your money back. And that's for manifesting generators, because you got to drive that car. We got a car. I was driving around. I was like, whoa, I had to get used to how it feels. And finally I was like, okay, I like this. But sometimes as a manifesting generator, you find after a couple of days you don't like it. So if that's going to be your marriage, that's not cool. So if other people don't understand, saying things like, I have to, let me wait and see, I have to test it out, those words are your friends. And just, let people know, if somebody asks you on Wednesday, come to my party on Saturday, be like, I got a bunch of stuff happening in the week, let me see how I feel on Saturday, can you get back to me on Saturday? Or can I get back to you on Saturday? And then they'll come to, because look, at the end of the day, it's better for you not to go anyway. If it's not right for you, you're in a bad mood, it's not good for you to be around other people. And again, like I said, it's your guidance system trying to get you to go somewhere else, even if that somewhere else is sitting home eating popcorn. Because as a manifesting generator, you can forget you're a generator. You have to sit down and let the generator build back up, just like pure generators.
Yep.
And you have to respect that. A lot of us aren't respecting our energy. We're not resting when we need it. We're up here too much. And if you're a manifesting generator up here, you have so much energy to run like a chicken with your head cut off. I mean, even see how amped my energy is. I have a big energy, defined throat. So sometimes that's why I spend a lot of time meditating, being quiet. I limit my socializing so that I'm really in tune with what's happening with me, because when I'm not fun to be around. But when I am, people like me.
And
wow.
You're impactful because
of
the manifestor part of the manifesting generator. So
we impact others.
Yeah, so the manifesting generator is like the superhero. It's like really like Superman, Incredible Hulk. Mm-hmm. So you can really have these big dynamic energies, but a lot of times it just takes some time to kind of work your way into your own system. So patience. It's extremely important for manifesting generators to exercise patience.
Yeah.
Also, before I forget, the difference between the manifesting generator and the generator, contracts with the contract.
Oh, this is for all of us, all generators.
All generators, even if you have manifesting generator, you guys deal with frustration and you're trying to, who am I, and satisfaction. But the manifesting generator, you do not have the same contract.
Stickiness.
Type of stickiness that the generators do. Like you will quit a job. Put it like that. You will not have issues quitting a job or a relationship. You will have
some issues. You're not that cold.
You ain't that cold, but you will
can
get out.
Survive jumping off the train.
Yes.
You maybe will break an arm or something. A pure generator is much more likely to have. Really, I don't want to be real negative, but the consequences are serious. So that's why we keep coming back to this. Generators are the ones who keep getting enslaved.
Yes.
Everything you see in the material world is built by generators. We are here to physically do the building and creating of the reality. So we're the portal, like the Empress card. We're the portal that determines what shows up. Because guess what? A manifestor can come and be the pharaoh and say, I want to build this. If no generator says yes, they don't have the energy to do it.
It ain't getting built.
So we have a real power, and it can feel like, oh, we're 70%, we're just normal, ho, just like, nothing special, but we're so important. We are the life force energy.
Yes.
We're the builders.
So if you want to take over a planet, you want to get the chunk of the people. You want to try to somehow bamboozle and confuse the chunk. You know, the biggest chunk of people. So the biggest chunk of people that have been bamboozled and confused have been the generators. And slavery is not about if you were black, white, Indian. Slavery has been geared towards generators.
Yes.
And that is the real. So all generators need to wake up. And as soon as the generators wake up, slavery will end.
Yes. So we're ready to see that happen.
And it's happening.
Yeah. So I guess break.
Take a quick little break.
Yeah. So we're gonna take a what do we say? 2 minutes, 5 minutes,
Two
few minutes,
Yeah,
2 minutes if you have to use the bathroom. And I'm gonna try to check out the questions. So for anybody just joining, oh yeah, and I just want to say Paige says we can, get off the train when you have to. We can do it. Just try not to get on in the first place. And that's what we want. We want this proactive thing going out there so generators know, get the reading so you know your strategy, but at least you know your aura type has to wait to respond. So that's the first step. Don't go and initiate. Like, this is what typically happens with the generator. Generator child graduates high school, sitting at home on the couch, which is what a generator needs to do because you have to build your energy back up. Mom and dad, go get a job. So they go and initiate. They work at McDonald's. They don't want to be a chef. They don't want to own a franchise. They want to do, I don't know. They want to be an architect or whatever. Who knows? Parents say, oh, that's a pipe dream. Go work at McDonald's. Get off your butt. So you're saying yes to a contract that you have no interest in. Now, if you're a generator and you want to learn business or you want to become a fast food chef, that can be correct for you. Attract that. But if you're a generator who's not interested in the food industry whatsoever, you're doing it because of a false program because your parents fear, and it's understandable. Your parents don't want you to be a baby your whole life. So you go and do it. Now you're a generator in an environment you don't like, that's not interesting for you. It might be wrong for your body type, wrong for your profile, and you're miserable. So a miserable generator attracts misery. They attract victimhood. They attract defeat. They attract hopelessness because they've signed a contract that's not correct for them. So when you get a reading, you will get this further level of nuance. We're telling you the strategies, but we can't tell everybody their inner authority. Everybody has an inner authority that's particular to them. And guess what? Nobody's inner authority is the mind. So what I can say generally for everybody is you've got to start feeling more and then follow your aura strategy. But to know, like, for example, I said I'm a generator that's sacrally defined. I'm not emotional. I have an open solar plexus. So I listen to the gut in the moment, but as a manifesting generator, I have to check again if it's a future issue and then decide in the moment again. So if you get an individual reading, then you're going to know exactly what chakra is the one that trumps in your system. And if you have a defined solar plexus, you're emotional. That trumps everything. And for those of you who are empaths out there, you know why. Because that energy just knocks everything else over. That is your guiding force. But you have to know if you have an emotional wave, how to work with it. So these nuances are what come up in the individual reading. We're not even going to touch the numbers and profiles tonight. That we would have you on here for 6 hours.
Yeah.
But that's all for individual readings, and potentially future group coaching programs will get more into the numerology and the lines, which are like your superpowers, the gates, which are energies you have activated that want to attract the opposite gates, so on. But at least knowing your aura type, you can start to get rid of some of the not self programs that are causing generators to sign contracts out of mental pressures because nobody understands how they work.
Yes.
So we hope to change that. Let me just see. And you're just, yes, Ann Page says, yes, you're dissatisfied in the McDonald's example. So, some generators can work at McDonald's and be satisfied because they want to study customer service.
Yes.
Or they like people. So we're not saying to do or not do anything. We're just saying sign the contract that's going to give you satisfaction. And I don't have permission, but there's someone here who told me the story about, getting opportunities to teach that didn't pay as well, but she was taking them because it was satisfying her. And a satisfied generator who's teaching is going to start attracting just good situations and the students they're really supposed to meet and all that. So it's not about the money with us. And if you chase the money, you're going to live like this broken-hearted life. It's about the satisfaction, and that satisfaction is going to make your aura so fantastically beautiful. You're going to magnetize the resources you need, and you don't necessarily need to have a lot of cash. Like Kevone's mom.
Some people feel satisfied with a certain amount of money in their bank account.
Yeah, and that's fine. Again, not saying what to do, one way or the other.
Just know that, going for your satisfaction, no matter what it is, there's no judgment when it comes to satisfaction. And this is the real truth when it comes to just living your life. Nobody's judging you. You are the only one judging you. Like, literally. Unless you've done something to harm someone else, and then you have to literally go to court, and then now you got a real judge. But other than that, you're judging yourself. Satisfaction is what you define it as. Success is what you define it as. And when you define it, then you are the one that is going to be the one that's receiving it. A lot of times we only want to be successful because we see this other person successful with a lot of money, or we want to be satisfied with having a certain amount of money in our bank account because we have a friend that has a certain amount of money in our bank account. Remember, homogenization. Like, that's a real thing, to put you all in a pot, to not leave your brother behind. I am my brother's keeper, and these are certain things that we've been indoctrinated with, over and over in movies, and speeches and things like that. When you become your brother's keeper, you totally forget about who you are, and then you just focus on him. So if you're keeping him up, who's keeping you up? And then now he's trying to focus on the other person, so now you have to watch his back because he's not even watching his own back. So now no one is really following their design, no one's pursuing their art,
no one's at home anymore.
No one's at home
no
anymore.
One's manning the wheel. It's
Literally.
just the knots, and it's like the knots of, like, I'm going to drive his car, he's going to try to drive my car. It's like a circus.
And because we friends, and because we have the same skin tone, or we grew up in the same neighborhood, it's okay.
Or we go to the same church, or yeah.
It's okay. We're just gonna stay on this lane right here, even though we're not succeeding. And then we go and we talk about the people that are succeeding, and we want to say, oh, they breaking away from the pack. They don't.
Or they're Illuminati.
They're Illuminati now. You Illuminati now.
Yeah.
So it ain't about that. It's about expansion, like I say, and it's okay to individually expand, because when you, the individual, expand, you show up as the puzzle piece. You show up as your puzzle piece. And when I have this idea where I need to get something done, and I need to call a person that's maybe, I'm not a movie editor, but I have crazy ideas, to put it together. So I have a friend that's, quote unquote, if you're 1-3, another little jewel dropping, editing movies, doing things like that. These are natural talents that you have. So I would call up my 1-3 friend, and my 1-3 friend will be like, yeah, I'll definitely edit the piece for you, or whatever. And then, the money comes in and the support comes in, and then we get the project done. So we need each and every one of us to really show up as our authentic self. And this is where we're going at right now. So
yes, and that, well, I'm just really glad you brought it up, because that's what happens when you learn how to wait and you learn how to be patient. Yes. You whittle away the not self and the masks, and then you start to really be you. And so then the people who are looking for the real you, that's what you link up with, regardless of what your strategy is. Okay. So you start to be the real you. Now you can start really living your life instead of just the the false lives that people lead, and they go through their whole life like this, out of this sense of obligation. And so we just are seeing, like, this is a system where everybody wins. You do what you want, and it makes everybody happier because you're doing what you want. Everyone's happy, blah blah.
Yes.
I didn't trace the projector stuff yet, but I do want to say one thing too about the judgment. So I'm considering doing another workshop just about self-leadership in general. I would love that. Oh, Kevone offered to trace it. Thank you. That like
That's what I do.
just lifted so much weight off my shoulders because I was like, oh, I haven't done the projectors thing. So for those just tuning in, we did the manifestors, we did the generators and the manifesting generators. We're about to do projectors and then reflectors. I made some posters that were backwards because we're on an iPad, so we have to trace them so that you can see them properly. So it's just a little bit of a glitch, but you know that forced me to kind of slow down, which is always good.
Yeah, we all know that projectors are the best type. So we have a lot of time. You know, we have to walk.
Well, the projectors, yes.
Patiently.
This is the first non-energy type we're going to talk about. So the projectors are the one who can sit through this. Now they don't necessarily want to sit through a lot of stuff if it's like too homogenized. Like they want to get like the deepest stuff. But they're like the nerdy types that they want to go in deep and they want to sit at the 6-hour one and then they want to come back the next day and talk for 6 more hours. In fact, when Kevone and I met, the first conversation we had, it was literally like 6 hours, and then it was like 6. It just messed up. But anyway, I was like, I have to go to sleep. It was 6 a.m. But you know, the projectors are really deep. They're here to be the guides. But before we get to this, oh, Summer, I'm glad you're here. So the judgment. When someone is in judgment, they're in the not self. So I want to put that out there for your, you know, sensitive inner children. Yeah, well, what is the not self? The not self, it's the false programming, it's the pretense, it's the mask, it's the trying to fit in, it's trying to be something other than what you're not. I don't want to get too much into the discussion of ego and what that is right now anyway, but I'm saying this to say one of the keys, one of the cues to know that you're in the higher self is that there's a lack of agenda. Instead of judgment, there's curiosity. So, and this is something maybe, you know, the holidays are coming up. When you get triggered, try to find just some curiosity about what's happening instead of judging it. Like, okay, why is that person acting like that? And you may find that you think you're talking to a 45-year-old, but you're really talking to like a 9-year-old inner child that's defensive.
Yes.
So the judgment is the not self battling not self, trying to play God because it's confused and frightened. The higher self vibration doesn't sit in judgment. It's like we didn't do the football analogy, but for those of you who've heard the football analogy, the higher self is like the referee. It's not black, it's not white.
You can just say it. You can say the football analogy.
So the analogy with the football team is the projectors are the coaches, the guides, non-energy beings with this overview that can guide and help guide. It has this perspective that can help guide the generators and the manifestors. The manifestors are the quarterbacks, or probably the team owners too.
Yeah.
But the quarterbacks, they initiate. The generators are all the players. And the reflectors are the crowd and the cheerleaders. And the referee is the self. And the self isn't on anybody's side. So, you know, when the judgments and stuff come up, for me anyway, and I don't know if it's helpful for anybody else, it was helpful to really have that like shortcut to know, okay, higher self, confidence, clarity, compassion, and there's no agenda. Instead, there's just curiosity. And this allows you to be open to what's really happening in present time and start to see the layers come off. Because if we're just reactive, thinking that the face someone is showing us is real, but it's their not self and we meet it with our not self, now it's like this sword fight and it's not going to go anywhere. The higher self is not in the sword fight. It's not in judgment. And it also knows that it's safe no matter what.
Yes.
That's the magic of it, which is why it looks so courageous.
Also,
to the not self.
Also, the higher self is always enjoying the light. And this is one of the main reasons what actually pulls you out of the, I would say, the program of just getting caught up in the 3D cycle. The higher self is constantly enjoying the light. The higher self is the driver of the vehicle that you're in. And the higher self is the one speaking to you through your inner authority. So when you learn your human design and you learn your inner authority, what you're also doing is you're learning how to trust your higher self. And you're literally surrendering to your higher self. in the higher self is based at the heart chakra. So one thing you must know is the heart, that the higher self literally is sitting in the heart chakra, not in the third eye, but in the heart chakra. So when you focus on the heart chakra, you tune into your higher self. And when you tune into your higher self, it in turns activates your multidimensional consciousness. So it opens up levels to the game. So the higher self is the base level of where we're heading at as a species. We're moving from more the up and down emotional self, and we're kind of lifting up into this heart chakra frequency, which is unconditional love, unconditional forgiveness, and unconditional acceptance. So the heart chakra is so deep. I can talk to you about the heart chakra for at least an hour, 2 hours at least. But
well, can I invite you to come to the self-leadership workshop?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, there we go.
Because I would love to talk about that.
Yes.
Somebody asked, with different times in your life, do you change or stay the same? So, your aura is the same your whole life. Now, it's a very good question, and this is something that can only be covered in a private reading because you have a Saturn returns, you have a Uranus opposition,
yes,
you have all these transits that happen. Then you have, just the energy of the day. So there's a chart of the day every day also. Like, I don't know what today's is, but if you're very open, especially certain days, you may feel like a different person because you're just amplifying the energy of the day. So you stay the same aura type throughout the incarnation in this body, but you go into different weather in different transits, like your Saturn return. So great question.
Yes, and in those Saturn return, those transits that we go through, you yourself, I would say you don't change, but technically you do change. But I'm a 3-5 projector, so my Saturn return is a 2-4 generator. Now, do I stop being a projector? No, I'm still a 3-5 projector, but the weather, the reality, the environment that I'm in is more so that of the hermit, the priest, and the prophet. So I live much more of a hermit type of existence now. And if you would have known me before I turned 28, you definitely know I was the opposite of a hermit. So, but if you know me now, you can definitely see me as you see me as a hermit. But this literally is just my Saturn return, and it's just a cycle. So this cycle in time is a time for me to kind of pull away, to go inside, to to learn myself and to download a lot of this knowledge so that I can teach and guide and be the projector that I'm supposed to be.
Yes.
Yes.
And people have asked before too, just kind of going on this question, are you going to stay the same your whole life? So like Kevone says, you go into these sort of new weather patterns with the Saturn returns, Uranus opposition. And for many people, for some people they stay similar, for other people there's a huge contrast, and that contrast provides opportunities for you to really understand things more deeply, because some people go from a more material plane profile to a more spiritual one, or vice versa, and that contrast will make you feel like you're a different person, but you're not. Hi Jim. Oh, thanks for coming. And it's funny, Lucian came in when we were talking about higher self, because he's like the higher self patrol. Those of you who've met him, he's really strict about not self acting up. He gets very angry when people are in the not self too much. But